Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Haunt Talk. In today's episode, we are going to be reviewing Ghostly Manor in Sandusky, Ohio. But first, we are going to do some plugs. But no, we do want to talk about, make sure you do like the video, subscribe, all of that stuff, ring the bell so you don't miss any notifications. But we do have some other stuff that you might be interested in if you like just the horror genre in general, which I assume you do if you're watching this video. We just finished a short film called Samsara that is actually currently on Amazon. It's free to Prime members, and it's only like 99 cents to rent. Anything you do like that to watch really helps us out if you like what we do. You know, it's not cheap to do all of the videos and traveling that we do, so we really appreciate that. We also are doing real haunted location vlogs, ghost hunting things, whatever you want to call them. It's called Haunted Adventures. It's in a playlist. Also on YouTube, we have more planned for October. So if you want some of that actual spooky stuff, you'll have that. And yeah, also make sure to check out the website. We have a Facebook page you can follow, or we post every time there's a new video and all that. And you can have discussions with us and message us and all that kind of stuff there. And there's going to be links to everything I just talked about in the description box of this video. But we'll go ahead and we will start getting into the video, into the review of Ghostly Manor. Now, usually, at least for the last few years, they've done the Lake Erie Fear Fest.
Yes.
This year, they did not do that. It is just Ghostly Manor.
Yeah. Typically, they have, what, like 3 or 4 other haunted houses?
Yeah, 3 or 4 other haunts. I forget how many others they usually have. And then Ghostly Manor is like the 4th or 5th haunt. You know, that's included in that. Now, Ghostly Manor is a year-round haunt. But in October, they, on the weekends at least, they close down for an hour. They close the haunt and they, like, vamp it up a little bit more. It's a little more intense. There's more actors. That kind of thing. And they also like change the entrance. This was Kim's first time being there.
Yes.
And I've been there before, but I mean, this was, I believe, back in 2007 or 8 when I went. So, I mean, it was kind of like going for the first time.
Yeah.
And I didn't go on season. I went off season.
There's definitely a lot of stuff to do there, too.
If you
wanted to, like, kind of spend the night there.
It's called the Ghostly Manor Thrill Center. It's more than just this haunted house.
Like, there's roller skating, like complete with the glow-in-the-dark carpet. Like, It was kind of, like, I felt like we stepped into the 90s. It was kind of weird.
And I will say, I mean, I don't roller skate, but it was cool because it's blacklight roller skating.
Yeah.
And it, like, I don't know if they were pumping the place full of fog, but everything was foggy probably because of the haunted house. Now, they might have been actually pumping it with fog.
Maybe.
They might have, but they also have an XD theater.
They had games you can play as well.
Yeah, they had like a laser thing where you had like you're like a bank thief avoiding lasers that look
like a laser maze or something. They also had some escape rooms.
I think they did, yeah. They had a few things. Yeah. So yeah, definitely check that out if you're interested. And I think they have combo tickets where you can get more than just the house. But we will go ahead and just get into the review. So as always, the first category is sets and props.
They had a lot of animatronics,
yes.
But they used them really well.
Yes. And a lot of the animatronics seemed to be controlled by the actors, too, which was cool.
Yeah, which was really cool because they were able to get them, like, going, like, immediately. Like, you walked in there and you were just bombarded. Yeah. And,
oh, yeah.
Like,
I didn't... Just an assault.
Yeah. Like, I'll have to be honest with you. I didn't have high hopes, being that this is, like, a year-round haunt, and I thought, well, it's going to be kind of cheesy, especially coming from, like, going to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, where the haunted houses were kind of like a year-round haunt, where it was just kind of like, you know.
Well, one of them we liked, and the other one was kind of mediocre.
Yeah, and I just didn't have high hopes, but I was really pleasantly surprised. Like,
yes.
They used the animatronics and their sets really, really well. I mean, there was one room where, like, so much stuff happened, and we got scared, like, every time, and we're just like, what is happening in this room? Like, it was just craziness.
And I will say it's a little bit hard to talk about sets and props without slightly mentioning the act. We try and keep them separate, but because of the fact that the actors activated the props, at least most of them, like, because most haunted houses is like a laser or there's like a pressure pad that you step on, and you can kind of see it. But this one, like, you couldn't avoid the animatronics. Some of them were hidden. Like, there was one room where we started walking out of it, and the entire wall just opens up and a thing flies out at us. One of the ones that I know really... So there was one room we were walking in, and there was like this table. This guy comes out right beside me, scares me, bangs on the table, it flies up on the other end, scares her, and then the whole table lifts up, and just a monster flies out now from underneath the table.
Yeah.
And we're just like, what's happening?
And I think something came out from the ceiling, too, at the same time. We're just like...
Yeah, like they were everywhere. Like, they would fly out, like beds would open up, like their walls would just completely just fall away and monsters would come out. They'd come from the ceiling.
Dropped from the ceiling a couple times.
And they were placed so well, like, a lot of times you couldn't, like, you had no idea where an animatronic might come out from, which I thought was interesting. And there's, like, drop panels to the place, but a lot of times, like, I feel like the drop panel's there to trick you because nothing would happen to the drop panel and then things would just fly at you from other directions. They had, the machine gun air cannon.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, at one point, I don't even know, there was like an air cannon that was in the head that just was like, just rapid firing
so loud.
at our face. Yeah, it scared the crap out of us.
Like, I felt it. Like, it, like, kind of hurt. Like, it was like, whoa, okay. It was kind of crazy.
For the most part, the place follows, for the most part, a traditional, like, manor, like a haunted house theme. Now, there was some other stuff thrown in there, like, there was like a laser swamp in there, which, I mean, that still could be like, like the swamp outside of them, I don't know. But there was like a couple like little Egyptian type theme things too. There's like that big kind of remind me of the Legends of the Hidden Temple head thing that you have to walk through at one point. So it's a little bit of a mishmash, but for the most part, with the way they did the lighting and everything, it felt consistent though.
Yeah.
Even though like it was a little more traditional and kind of all over the place, they tied it together with the way the lighting and the theming kind of blended between room to room. So it never felt like jarring, I guess. No. It always felt like fairly consistent going from room to room. We really liked it. I mean, everything was also really well maintained.
Yes. Yeah, because you know how sometimes you go to places and they have animatronics, but like you can tell they're like falling apart, or you can see like tape and things like that. These were very well taken care of, well-fed animatronics. Yeah.
Very, very, very good. We were very impressed with everything we saw there, and we gave it a 10. There really wasn't any complaints I had for sets and prep. Like, once you got into the house, it was just relentless with theming, and because there really wasn't any black hallways. I don't even know if there was any. There might have been like one. 2,
and they were literally like, you'd go down here and go here, and then
they'd even
get bombarded again.
Yeah, but they'd even have something in, like the one I know had like the moving floor tiles and stuff like that. Yeah, so that was really cool. But yeah, definitely deserving of that.
So our next category is actors. There wasn't a lot of them, but they were everywhere. Yeah. They found a way to scare us wherever they were, and they must have had secret panels in places. They were very aggressive. Like we said, they controlled a lot of the animatronics, which really helped out because they were able to like see us and be like, okay, that's gonna scare them right there, you know. It was just very well timed.
Yeah, and they really just seemed to appear out of nowhere. And like, I think there was only 4 or 5. I think. Yeah. But I mean, like every scene, they were just popping out of somewhere. And like the one I remember, I don't even know where he came from. Like, I was just walking behind him, and he literally just rises above me. Like, he must have, like, crawled under through a hole and then just stood up in front of me and then just, followed Kim and got her. And I'm just like, oh, jeez. And then there's the one room that was really cool. Like, you're, like, turning a corner, and, like, it was like a normal wall, but it looked like a normal wall, but it was actually like that cloth material, the stretchy cloth material, like the spandex, whatever.
Somebody, like, doing that to it, and...
Yeah, the place just, I mean, this is more back to sets and props, but the place is just designed in a way where, like, they can just so easily skirt between rooms, because it must be just very switched back. It's disorienting when you're in there, so it's hard to tell exactly how it's designed. But whoever designed the place, I imagine it's almost like there's, like, a central hub where the actor can be, and then everything's going around him.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
And it works great. Because the only thing I really remember from when I went there before in off-season, where there was one actor, and he actually changed costumes, and again, this was years ago, there's one actor, and I remember he was able to get us multiple times. I mean, it was nothing like what we experienced this night, but still. Yeah, the actors were great. They didn't really have dialogue, but they were very aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, just constantly scaring you, and their hiding places were just insanely good. Like, they were just popping out of the orifices.
Yeah,
Like,
they were everywhere. Yeah.
yeah. So we gave actors a 10 as well, just because they were so good that I really didn't have a complaint. Like, maybe it would have been nice to have dialogue, but I think that would have took away from what this haunt was trying to be. If you want to compare this haunt to roller coasters, I would compare this to, like, something like Steel Vengeance. You know, or not Steel Vengeance, because it's long, but it's like some kind of, like, short, sweet roller coaster where you just get on and it just messes you up real quick, and you get off and you're kind of shaking. You're like, well, that was only a minute long, but
yeah, like Maverick.
I think that's fine.
A little bit more like Maverick, where it just shoots you in right away,
yeah,
and you're like,
just
oh,
don't
okay,
stop. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, and before you know it, it's done, and you're like, okay, well, that's awful. Now I have to pee.
Yeah, exactly. Except you already have.
So moving on, we're going to Scare Factor. Like we said, they got us. They got us good.
Multiple times. You know, it was one of the more scarier traditional haunted houses I've been to.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, they don't, and even before the pandemic, that they didn't like touch or anything like that. You know, and that will be the only way that might make it a little bit scarier. And they don't really do any other type of scare besides jump scares. It's very old fashioned. There's not really any kind of like psychological thing.
Yeah, I know.
There, so it's just that. I wouldn't recommend. I mean, well, you know, it's kind of funny, and they might tame it down for kids, and it's in some place that I feel like kids will be, but I feel like this would be too intense for like a child under the age of 13, just because how aggressive the actors are. I feel like they would probably freak out. I mean, they might have a policy where if it's a kid, they're like, oh, hey, tone it down, because we never ran into anyone. Well, I think we were the only people there. At that point, well, there were other people in the facility, but we were the only ones going through the haunted house at the time. There was no one in line. There was no line we waited in, which was nice.
I know.
But yeah, Scare Factor, we gave them a 9.5. Very, very scary. So yeah, if you're looking to get all the jump scares, this is the place you want to go to.
So then our next category is, of course, value. It was $15. Took about 8 minutes to go through, but it felt like longer just because so much was happening.
Because it was very nonstop.
Yeah. So it did feel like a lot longer, but it was kind of short. But
yeah,
I mean,
I was actually really surprised when I got out and I looked, because I always time the things. I look at the, you know, I time it and I'm like, oh, it was actually a little under 8 minutes. We'll just like round it up to 8, but it's more like 7 to 8 minutes. So I mean, and it was what, $15 per person, which is, you know, pretty average. I would say it would be kind of high for such a short haunt if the haunt wasn't so good, though.
Right. But
the haunt was really good, so I think $15 is well worth it. Mm-hmm. You could spend that money on a much longer haunt, but much worse haunt, though.
Yeah.
So, and I much have a short good haunt than a long bad haunt.
So we did give them an 8 for that.
Exactly, yeah.
And that brings us to our overall score, which we gave them a 9.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. The only thing that I it might be nice if there's a way to make it a little bit longer, and that's why I'm excited to check out Fear Fest. Hopefully that'll be there in 2021 to see what the other haunts there are like. I don't know if they'll be close to the same quality that Ghostly Manor has, because Ghostly Manor is like an all year haunt, but it does seem like when we left Ghostly Manor, it seems like the Lake Erie Fear Fest are in permanent buildings.
Yeah, there were a couple buildings back there, so maybe most of it is still in there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. If you've ever been there, let us know in the comments what Lake Erie Fear Fest overall is like the ones that's not Ghostly Manor, and like what you've had as experience. Because I would definitely like to check that out, especially after seeing how good this was. I am intrigued.
All right, well, that is it for this one. It's in the can. Don't forget to do all the likes and subscribes and all that fun jazz.
Yep, and again, all the links we talked about at the beginning of the video will be in the description.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
Yep.